Alright, in this video we're going to take a look at the Texas Instrument Calculator that you are able to use on the Ohio graduation test. There are 5 basic things that we're going to look at in this particular video. Basically, they are just some basic functions to get you started with this calculator. The first one is operations in the keyboard. Second, negative numbers. Third, deleting and inserting. 4, parentheses. And 5, PEMDAS. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, mistakes made with this calculator. So we're going to start with operations and the keyboard. So let's go ahead and we're going to turn our calculator on the bottom left hand corner here, and you'll see the blinking cursor. Now notice off to the right hand side you'll see all of the operations. You see division, multiplication, subtraction, addition, and you have your enter or equal sign there. You also have your basic keyboard functions here, so the numbers. So if I wanted to type in 8 times 9, and then I would have to press the enter or equal sign to get that answer. So then you can see the answer displays in the lower right hand corner of that. What I want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and clear that so it doesn't show. Okay, clear. And that's pretty much the basic functionality. So you can use any of those operations as you choose. Now one thing you can do too is you can actually do more than one operation at a time. So the basic of basic calculators, you can only do one operation at a time, but this one you can do several operations. So I could say 5 times 8 plus 3 minus 2 all at once, press enter, and it gives me my answer. So moving on to the next function, we have negative numbers. Now negative numbers, you may have noticed this little negative sign or minus sign in the parentheses. That means negative. So what I want to do, one thing you know with a negative is that it goes in front of the number. So if I want to write negative 8, I have to push the negative first in this calculator. So negative 8, and I'm going to add 9, and that equals 1. So that is the negative number function on the calculator. Go ahead and clear that. So I'm going to push clear, and then I'm going to jump to delete and insert. This can be valuable when you type in something that's kind of long and you realize you made a mistake with typing it. So let's say we have 9 times 5 minus 2 plus 3 minus 7, and then we realize, oop, wait a second, this addition sign here was actually supposed to be a multiplication sign. So what I want to do, you'll notice these little arrows here. You can use those arrows and push the back arrow to get all the way to that plus, and then what I'm going to do is I can actually push, you'll notice a little INS there, and you also notice the delete. If I wanted to delete that altogether, let's say that addition sign is not supposed to be there and it's just supposed to be a 2 and a 3 or 23, I could do this, push enter, and get my answer. But what I want to do is I want to actually insert a multiplication sign there. So I'm going to push second to get to that little yellow, second, insert, multiplication. You notice it plugs in a multiplication sign between the 2 and the 3. Scroll back over to the end, push enter, and it will give us our answer. Okay, now the fourth thing you'll see here is parentheses. Now the parentheses, you'll notice, is important in PEMDAS because P stands for parentheses. So you'll notice right above this keyboard you'll see the 2 little parentheses. You'll see the left parentheses and the right parentheses. If you use one, you have to use the other. So if you have something like let's say 5 plus, and then you want to put in parentheses 9 times 2. And then you close the parentheses. So what this is going to do is going to multiply the 9 to 2 before it adds the 5. So that's the use of the parentheses in this case. So go ahead and press equals, and you'll see the answer there. Now, one mistake that I see a lot of students make with these calculators is they try to do this without using the parentheses. So you have 5 plus 9 times 2. Remember, the answer was 23 when we put the parentheses around the 9 to 2. It is again here because we are using the order of operations. Multiplication is still in front of addition. Now let's look at an example where this is not the case. Okay, so let's say we wanted to have 5 plus 2 times 7, but the 5 plus 2 has to be added together before we wanted to multiply it by 7. So let's go ahead and plug that into the calculator. What I really want to happen is the 5 and the 2 to be added together first. So I'm going to use the parentheses. So 5 plus 2, close the parentheses, and then take that sum and multiply it by 7 and find our answer. So basically we're saying 7, the 5 plus 2 is 7, times 7 gives us 49. What I see a lot of students do is they'll just type in and not use the parentheses, 5 plus 2 times 7. Now if I look at that for a second, if you think of order of operations, the calculator follows the order of operations. So what it's going to try to do first is multiply the 2 and the 7, which give it 14, and then it's going to add the 5. So give it 19. So if you press that, notice you get 19. So if I notice I make a mistake, I'm going to jump back and just try that again. So 5 plus 2 in the parentheses, very important, times 7 equals 49. So when you are using this calculator, be very careful with using the parentheses and when not to use the parentheses.